should probably explain these videos before I start them, huh? If you're new here, this is basically just me in a different character, completely making fun of one thing or another. In this video, it's the Nets. If you enjoy it, sub, like the video, check out the socials at the bottom of the screen and Linktree. Let's do it. They just make it too easy. The Brooklyn Pretender Nets. There's nothing to even say about that. How do you lose to the Wizards? The Wizards are, there's not even an argument made. They're the worst team in the entire league. It's not close. Russell Westbrook hasn't been good in any game all season long. Every single time that Russell Westbrook has put up good numbers, it's been on awful efficiency. And the one great game that Russ has is against the Brooklyn Nets. Bradley Beal looked like he wanted to be shipped out tomorrow. Bradley Beal looked like he had already booked his flight and packed his bags to go play for somebody else. He did not have a shot attempt in the entire first quarter. And the Nets still managed to lose to Washington and giving up 150 points while they're at it. Goodness great. This is supposed to be a finals contender. This is supposed to be a team that everybody's going to be excited about. I saw Tyler Johnson play basketball yesterday. Tyler Johnson was on the floor for Brooklyn yesterday. I don't care that James Harden didn't play. You should be able to beat the Washington Wizards with anybody on the floor. Anybody. As long as two of the guys are Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. But I had to watch Tyler Johnson, Reggie Perry, and Timothy Luwawu missing the game-winning layup Cabarrot play basketball yesterday. This roster is an absolute disaster nightmare. Like the only good thing about the team, the only complete thing about this Brooklyn Nets team is the announcing team. Ian Eagle, Richard Jefferson might be the best regional announcing team in the entire league, but the rest of it is awful. Awful, awful, awful. I have not watched so much Jeff Green in my entire... Jeff Green hasn't been relevant since he was the 5th pick in the draft. That was the peak of Jeff Green's career, was him being the 5th pick in the draft. And now he's out here knocking down threes every other possession, and you're still losing to Washington, a team that is basically imploding, a team that has basically accepted the fact that Russ does not fit. Beal wants to leave. They gave up a pick to get Russ, and they don't have anybody on their team that could guard me. And you still lost to Washington. The Nets are the biggest pretender in the entire league. There's no excuse. There's no excuse that when you have Kyrie Irving and you have Kevin Durant on your team, that you would go out there and you would lose to Washington. There's just nothing. They have the worst defense in the league statistically since they made the Harden trade. They don't even have a team. I don't even know why I'm referring to them as a team. They've got 3 really good players and then Jeff Green. That's their entire roster. DeAndre Jordan isn't even an NBA player at this point. DeAndre Jordan thinks he's actually playing in the Big Three, but he's getting a $10 million contract. Like, DeAndre Jordan is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. He's worse than he was as a rookie. Like, DeAndre is just, he's not even out there. It's literally Jeff Green, Joe Harris making an occasional jump shot, and 3 superstars, but that's not a team. You're nothing. From the moment you lose to Washington and give up 150 points, you're nothing. They could go out and they could beat the Bucks by 40 for 4 straight games, and I still wouldn't be convinced that they're any good because they just lost to the Wizards, and Tyler Johnson was on the floor. Now we got to get to Steve Nash. Steve, what's up, man? Loved your career. You know, you're one of my favorite players of all time to watch. One of the most influential players in league history. I don't know if the coaching thing is for you, dog. I'm gonna be honest. Because, like, I appreciate trying to experiment. You know what I mean? And he's making bad challenges and putting Tyler Johnson on the floor just to really test this group. You know what I mean? And see what they have and see if they can overcome challenges. Here's the thing, though, man. You're acting like you have job security. You know what I mean? You're acting like Kyrie and KD couldn't go to the front office tomorrow and be like, you know what? I think D'Antoni's a better coach. Let's go ahead and have that guy. The guy that's actually been an NBA head coach before, let's go ahead and have him run the team. Like, you're acting like that's not a realistic possibility, Steve. Don't ever have one of KD, Kyrie, or if Harden, if he plays, all of them off the floor at the same time. Don't ever do that. One of them needs to be on the floor all at once. I don't want to see Landry Shamet initiating the offense and doing a dribble handoff with Jeff Green, with Timothy Luwawu missing the game-winning layup, Cabarrot on the weak side. I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. That's like some high school basketball level stuff. Nobody wants to watch that, okay? Just don't do it. And someone phrased this perfectly yesterday. I will not take credit for this. You know, the Steve Nash era Suns pioneered a lot of things. You know, great offense, spacing, 7 seconds or less Suns, right? But like Nash has brought the 7 stops or less Nets to Brooklyn. Again, that one's not mine. I won't take credit for that one. And there really were people out there that thought that this Nets team was going to the moon. They were all in. They were buying. They said they were going to the moon. If we believe enough, if we buy in enough, they can't stop us. We've got James Harden. We've got Kevin Durant. We've got Kyrie Irving. We're going to the moon. Well, you just crashed. You just hit 4 asteroids, ran into Saturn, and now you're just floating around in space because the Washington Wizards cast a spell. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal beat you when they haven't beat anybody in 2.5 months. They didn't play basketball for 3 weeks. That's the team you lost to. Until proven otherwise, until further notice, the Brooklyn Nets are nothing. They're a disaster. They are an embarrassment. They can't guard anybody. They only win games when they score 130 points. And I don't care that they'd won 8 out of the last 10 up until last night's game. They could have beaten the Lakers by 1,000 the night before. That does not make up for the fact that you just lost to the Wizards. Everybody knew that this was the worst team in the league coming into this game, except for Brooklyn, because they somehow managed to throw the game away because they're up 5 with like 7 seconds left. And you let Bradley Beal walk into a straight-on 3, no contest, just walks into it. Then Joe Harris apparently loses his mind for half a second, throws at the other team, and Russell Westbrook hits a tray. He gets a 40-point game. And then Timothy Luwawu, can we cut him? Like, you know how in the NFL, you know, a lot of times a guy will screw up, the punt returner that's barely on the team muffs the punt, and then on Monday they get cut. Can we trade TLC? Like, can they just go ahead and move him and cut him and go get somebody else? If you miss the game-winning layup wide open with your left hand, there's nobody even contesting because everybody's focused on KD. Can we just cut him? What an actual embarrassment the Brooklyn Pretender Nets are. If you think that this is still a good team, I don't know what to tell you. Go get JJ Redick, I guess. Like, I don't know what the solution is. They can't guard anybody. Tyler Johnson plays real minutes. They're counting on Reggie Perry and Jeff Green as a significant part of the rotation. You're a pretender. You have absolutely nothing going for you. Enjoy a second round exit. There's like 4 better teams better than you just in the Eastern Conference. So enjoy not having a future. Enjoy having KD and Kyrie and James Harden together because it's never going to mean anything. End of rant.